I've listened to the debate today and indeed the last day that we were here, and I suppose the argument being put forward in relation to Cork City, while I'm not familiar with all of the boundaries and local electoral areas and so on, is a case where you are extending the city, taking in, as you say, all of the developments around that city, and having the administrative area as you have outlined. And it strikes me that the department doesn't have, or you don't have, one single vision as to how local authorities should actually function. And the argument that's been put forward for the extension of Cork City is an argument that you denied to Kilkenny City. In fact, the last day that you were here, and I challenged you on this, I wasn't here for your response, but I read it in the local newspaper, that there was no authority council in Kilkenny City. We had, no, stop mincing, stop dancing on the head of a pin there. We had a corporation, we had an urban council, they struck their own rates, and they were central to the economic development of the city and county. We had one county manager that was the city and county manager. So in the context of the description from local government, it may not have fitted that description of a council within the city. But at the same time, there is a city, there is developments all around that city. The borough boundary, as it was known then, should really be extended in the same way as you're talking about Cork. And the city should not stand on its own, but should be part of the total administrative structure for the city and the county. So if you're making the argument for Cork in the way that you are, then you spoke against that very argument the last day that you were here. And it appears from what you are saying today that there isn't an overall plan relative to the development of cities or urban centres and allowing them the recognition that they deserve in the context of their population or their growth. And that is what is happening in Kilkenny. And the reverse is happening in Cork. And you refuse to deal not just with Kilkenny but with other centres like that. And I'm just wondering, why is that the case? Why did you stand here the last day and say that you were against that notion? At the same time now you're addressing, in principle, the same thing that's happening in Cork. It doesn't make sense, Minister, to me. And it doesn't make sense that there isn't, as Deputy Naughton, I think, said, an effort to deal all round with not just the administration, but with the boundaries, with the election of public representatives. And there is no effort being made throughout the country to bring back a level of democracy at local level. You spoke about the centre of cities being boarded up and what have you. But you drive through Kilkenny. Surely you must see too that the nature of High Street has changed, that small towns and villages have changed, that there is a need for huge investment to restore them to something like what they used to be, and at the same time keeping up with modern developments and so on. And in terms of planning, it's the same question. The planning authority, when it was with Kilkenny Corporation, Kilkenny Urban Council, had a direct input. They were part of a membership of 12, and now they're part of a membership of 24. So it's not right, the manner in which you're bringing forward this bill, and it's an unthought out, I suppose, plan that would affect the whole country. So I think you should be going back to the drawing board going back to what all of the good things that were happening in local authorities, and beginning to restore that democratic process at that level in every city and county and urban centre, acknowledging the growth patterns that are there and the forecasts for growth that you will be able to establish. And I would encourage you to do that, because as you weaken local democracy, you detach that democratic process from the people. And you see in France and other places around the world, when that happens, there is disquiet, because there is no way of influencing how you shape a local community, a local city or a county. And you saw what your colleague did before he left, Minister Hogan. He divided a city in two and introduced a whole new rural part to an electoral areas. Impossible to administer and impossible for the local public representatives to actually engage in a meaningful way with those that elected them. So I would encourage you to go back and look at this and learn from the mistakes of the past, so that you don't make a mistake with Cork and you don't make a mistake with Galway, and that you listen to all of the stakeholders in order to establish what they want, and indeed what the local communities in those areas want. Because we make the decision here and we almost exclude the central stakeholders to all of this, which is local communities, local businesses that are paying rates and so on. And you are the Minister to give the leadership on it, and I would suggest that you would do that.